Okay. Hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Mallory Davis. I am the president of the Student Council for Exceptional Children. Welcome to our little Zoom, our resource fair. We have all kinds of resources here for you guys today. So we have people from Outdoor Rec that are going to give you some information, and then we have the Writing Center, mental health, library, and then sorry, my list just library, U Pantry, and tutoring. And then we'll do a quick little Q&A with whoever's left and kind of wrap it up. So I'm so glad you're all here. We're gonna start with Outdoor Rec. It's a little early, so is anyone from Outdoor Rec here on the Zoom right now? Okay. That's just fine. Do we have anyone from the Writing
Sorry,
Center?
I'm here. I just couldn't
Oh,
find the
perfect.
mute button.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead and get started whenever you're ready.
Okay, and then can I share screen? Okay, guess not. That's okay. So, hi, my name is Kira Steeprish, and I'm from the Campus Recreation Services, which also hosts outdoor recreation for you guys over there. And over in our building, we basically have a huge rental shop. It's one of the largest in the state. And we are able to rent out rafts, camping equipment, skis, all kinds of winter equipment, basically all seasons that you want to explore the great outdoors for Utah. We have the equipment that you can use here in our building. So that's available to all students and it's also available to the general public as well.
Kara, you
And then
have sharing privileges if you want to share now.
okay. Let's see then. Okay, so these are kind of our equipment rentals here that we have. And then there's a QR code there if you want to go ahead and scan that. So as I was mentioning before, everything that you want to do, snow, climbing, hiking, backpacking, camping, and then right now we're wrapping up our summer gear. So I know a lot of people are new to the state of Utah. I know that's a huge draw of our university is our great outdoors, but maybe we haven't necessarily been outdoors in the great state of Utah yet. So that's where our outdoor adventure trips come into play. So our outdoor adventure trips, they are led by a guide specialist. They are all certified and trained. Most of them are EMT majors here at our own university. So that's kind of a cool little thing. And what they do is for one cost, you're able to go out on these outdoor adventure trips and they provide the equipment, the transportation, the food, and they teach you all the skills and then you have a guide there for safety. So definitely something to look into. You are only able to do this if you are a student at the University of Utah. So this is not something that is typically open to the general public. So this is special for students. And then last service kind of ties in with outdoors, but this is actually in our building and you can see a picture of it behind me here as well. This is our summit. So this is our indoor climbing range in a sense, and we have everything from top rope up there to bouldering. So bouldering, you don't need any instruction. You can borrow shoes from our front desk and you can go ahead and start climbing. And then the top rope, we do offer instruction for it twice a week for only $5, and that does include your shoe rental. And then if you have any questions, let me know.
Here,
Awesome.
I have a question.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Can faculty participate in the outdoor excursion stuff, or is it just students?
So right now we have it closed to just students, but they are considering reopening it back up in the spring to staff and faculty again as well. So just keep an eye on that website.
Thank you.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Do we have anyone from the Writing Center on yet?
Hi, yes, I'm from the Writing Center. I'm Annie. Hold on, let me change my screen so that I can share a PowerPoint with you. Just 1 second. And are we shooting for like 5 to 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes? And I'll just kind of
Like
gauge
10
how long
minutes
I
would be
talk.
great.
10 minutes? I
10
can do
minutes would be
that.
great. And we're pretty ahead of schedule, so if you go over that, it's not that big of
Okay,
a deal.
no, that's great. All right, so I'm going to, my PowerPoint is doing that bouncing thing on my dock, and I have that little spirally pinwheel right now. So just a second. And I'm gonna share my screen. Here we go. Share.
You can be sure that you didn't donate. Then, I mean, what are we there
Thank
right
you.
now?
All right, so slideshow. Play from start. Okay, so my name is Annie McMurtry, and I am the director of the University Writing Center. The University Writing Center is located on the second floor of the Marriott Library and in room 2701. And this is a picture of our space. It's a little room comparatively, but we meet with, about 7,000 students a year. Or at least that's how many student contacts we have. We have some students who come in more than once. So there at the front, that's our reception desk. We no longer have the COVID screen there, but other than that, it pretty much looks the same. So come on in and see us. What can you get help on? The Writing Center provides free writing support for all undergraduate and graduate students at the U. And we can help you write whatever you are working on. Of course, what we usually see students for is for their coursework papers, things like Canvas posts or, write a reflection paper, a research paper, lab reports. We see all kinds of different coursework from across the disciplines. And we also look at UROP research proposals, application materials, people applying to jobs for scholarships. We see a lot of personal statements, people heading into graduate school. All kinds of things, resumes. And then we also see our fair share actually of creative writing. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had a student who sent me an email. He came in a couple of times a week all last semester, not only with his own coursework, but with some short stories that he was working on, and he got 3 of them published. So even though he graduated, he sent a message that just said, "Thank you to all the tutors for helping me with this." And that was a pretty exciting thing. And then of course we look at honors theses and also theses and dissertations for graduate students. So whatever you're writing, we can help you with that. Love poetry come February, your holiday letter in November, December, we'd love to help. All right, so what can we help you with? The Writing Center is about meeting the writer where they are. And so some people come into the Writing Center because they haven't had anything written and they have a writer's block, or they don't understand the prompt. What am I actually supposed to do here? It's a synthesis paper. Okay, well, but what is a synthesis? How does that compare to an analysis or a summary, right? And so we can help just like demystify those assignment sheets or talk to you about kind of what you're interested in. You kind of have it narrowed down to a couple, 3 ideas, and you want to just talk it out with somebody. Our tutors can do that. So you don't have to have a single thing written, nor do you have to write anything in a tutorial. That said, most of the pieces that we look at, though, are actual pieces of writing at some stage of the writing process after something is on the page. So some folks have just an outline and they have to develop their ideas. Some have an entire draft written, but they're concerned about their audience. Are they going to understand all the jargon that I'm using, or the acronyms, or the whatever that is in their piece? Is this geared towards my teacher, or who's the audience of this piece? And we can help you with tone, we can help you with word choice. Also, we can help you with the organization of your thoughts and your sources. That's what I usually see. In fact, when there's an organization issue, is that you have something written and then you bring in another source and it doesn't quite fit anywhere and it's just kind of tossed into the middle perhaps. And we're going to help you find a logical progression of ideas where you get from point A to point B to point C smoothly. And where there's transition statements, where there is engagement with your sources. And that leads into the next point, the form convincing arguments. So we'll help you with logical fallacies. We'll help you with using your source material in a way that is going to be impactful and convincing for your reader. We can help you with citing your sources. We're really quite familiar with APA, MLA, and Chicago style citations, but we also look at IEEE for engineers. We look at AMA. We look at whatever. We might have to look it up while you're sitting there with us, but we are an ally. We're a citing buddy for you, where we're going to sift through the Purdue OWL and hope that they have something on whatever you are trying to cite. We had somebody who was trying to cite social media posts. That was something I've never done before. It's been done. We just have to find out how to do it. And we'll do that while we're sitting side by side with you. So not only do you feel confident when you leave, but you also know how to do it in the future, right? We can help with the clarity of your writing, continuity, flow, and then polishing your sentences. And that last one, you know, I have to admit I have mixed feelings about. So I don't want people to think of the Writing Center as a copy editing service. It's not a place where you can just drop your paper off and say, all right, I'll be back at 5 and I'll pick it up. Right. I mean, that would be an awesome service. Don't get me wrong. It wouldn't be really in keeping with Writing Center philosophy, but it would be a cool service. But a lot of students come in and they say, I need someone to check my grammar. And we will. I mean, if there are sentences that are not clear, if the meaning is obscured because of grammar and punctuation, we'll absolutely take a look at that. Or if the paper is due like in 2 hours and we just have to polish that sucker up, then we can absolutely be that resource for you or with you. However, writing centers like to think of themselves as being something more than just a place to tell you which is correct effect or affect, whether you should put a semicolon or a colon there, right? We know that stuff and we'd love to help you, but there's other stuff that we're really hoping to help you with also. And that's those bigger picture things, the things that I talked about earlier with just forming your convincing argument. Are you saying what you actually want to say? Is the argument that you're making a sound argument and you're backing it up with reputable sources? Yeah, so we'd like to help you with those things. And then of course, after those things are there, we're going to help you polish it up and be able to present it in a way to your reader that is the most impressive. Okay, so we have appointments that are live and in person. I have them going on behind me. I hope that isn't distracting. In fact, now that I'm thinking about that. But we have live in-person tutorials for 30 minutes. You just walk in, sit down with the tutor, and we can either bring your document up on our screens or you can bring in a hard copy and we can actually sit down and look at the same piece and make little notes off to the side and chat with you about it and really have a good back and forth. Or we can do what we're kind of doing right now, a Zoom session where we share a screen, we look at the piece together and have that back and forth. And then we also have asynchronous tutoring. I don't know if I have a screen on that. I'll talk to you about it in just a second if not. Okay, yeah. So you can meet with a tutor of your choice on our website, writingcenter.utah.edu. You can click on any of our tutors, you hover over them and it flips over and it shows you what their major is, what their writing expertise are, and then also their favorite quote and their favorite book, in case you just want to find somebody whose personality kind of aligns with yours, who you think might be a good fit. And I hire people from across the disciplines. So while it's true that we do have quite a few English majors and writing and rhetoric majors, because that's just kind of who gravitates to writing centers, future English teachers. I also try to hire people from across the disciplines, right? So I have somebody from sociology, another person from criminology. I don't have an engineer this year, but I'd like to hire an engineer if you know of anybody, right? So I'm really interested in disciplinary, cultural, and linguistic diversity in the Writing Center, because it's not just English majors coming into the Writing Center for tutorials. In fact, not many do. that doesn't surprise some people. Yeah, so we actually help people from every major on campus, and we have tutors who speak, let's see, this semester, I want to say 6 or 7 languages are represented. So you can come in and hold your tutorial in Russian, for instance. Your paper might be written in English, but you can have that discussion about your paper in your home language. And so I'm always very interested in hiring people who speak other languages, who come from other cultures. We have a native Korean student working for us this semester, and that's kind of awesome. And every now and then we have ASL tutors who also come in. So that's really kind of a special thing that the Writing Center can offer. Our online tutorials, I'll tell you all about how to get there, but it's mostly just you go to writingcenter.utah.edu and you just click on make an appointment, and then you can choose if you want to do in person or over Zoom. And you just choose a tutor with the word online next to their name, or in person and online if you want to work with somebody over Zoom. I also have a QR code right there. It might take you to an ad. It's not a bad ad. It's just a QR code ad. You click on that and then, ignore the ad, and then you can make an appointment after you make a free account for the Writing Center. And then finally, we have something called e-tutoring, and e-tutoring is something that the Writing Center is a part of, but it's actually larger than just our Writing Center. Basically, the University of Utah has like a subscription service for this platform called etutoringonline.org, where tutors from across the nation are all they all come together in like a tutoring pool. So there's an OChem tutor and a calculus tutor and a Spanish tutor, and we provide writing tutors, and other universities provide writing tutors, and they're all on this platform. And then all of the universities who provide those tutors all have access to each other's tutors. And so if you have a need to get help in one of those subjects, there's live tutoring in about 15, 16 different subjects. It's all free, but also it has an asynchronous option for writing, where you submit a paper and then within 48 hours you get a written response back. It's not track changes. They're not going to write it for you or cross anything out, but they are going to put questions in the margins using an insert comments feature. And they're also going to write you a letter that tells you what their perceived strengths and weaknesses are of your paper. And if you have any questions, I go by the name Annie, but my name is actually Anne, and that's important when you're emailing me. Okay, so you can always email me with questions about the Writing Center, about the Graduate Writing Center, about e-tutoring, about the different resources on campus with the Learning Center, with Grammarly. I'm kind of the contact person. I've been here now over 10 years, and here's my contact information. It's Anne, ANNE .McMurtry, MCMURTREY @utah.edu, or you can contact our receptionists at writingcenter@utah.edu, or our phone number. And we have tutors available 5 days a week for our in-person and Zoom sessions, or 7 days a week, even over fall break, spring break, winter break. E-tutoring doesn't close, so you can always get tutoring over that platform. So somebody is available to help you. And a few parting notes. We look forward to meeting with you, to helping you with your writing, with whatever you're working on. We have good folks. I know that I'm super duper biased, but I always think that Writing Center people are just great people, because not many like jerks in this world gravitate towards writing centers and want to help people, right? Like, we have just a bunch of helper people who want to sit down and work with you and help you to become a stronger writer or communicator. And they've all taken a 3-credit tutor training course that I teach every fall to train them to be able to do a good job. Okay, so thank you so much. And I will try to stick around for questions at the end.
Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions now that they want to get out of the way, just in case and you can't stick around? Okay, that was great. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Do we have anyone here from the Mental Health Center at the University of Utah?
They are going to be popping right on if they're not on right now. So we'll watch for them in the waiting room. But if we want to move to the next, and then we'll cycle back.
Okay, next we have library. Do we have anyone from the library on?
Donna's here.
Perfect. We can go ahead and get started.
Okay,
there.
can I share my screen?
Okay, Donna, try it now.
Okay. Alrighty. Can't see my PowerPoint icon to get to my PowerPoint. Here it is. So hello, everyone. My name is Donna Ziegenfuss, and I'm one of the librarians in the Marriott Library. And I am your personal librarian for the College of Ed. So I am the go-to person for the College of Ed. So I'm going to talk very briefly about 3 things: the library space, the services and the people, and then the resources that the library has. So the library is a place. We have about 3.5 million books, and it may be up because we just bought a lot of books this summer. We have 3 floors of books, and then reserve books are on the 3rd floor. So we have physical books on the 1st floor and 2nd floor. And then on the 3rd floor, we have reserves, where faculty have reserved books, textbooks so that you don't have to buy them. And we have book scanners so that you can scan pages and chapters from the book for your courses. There's also a family reading room on the 3rd floor, and it's by the juvenile book collection. So we do have a collection of juvenile books, and Anne McMurtry on this call asked me to buy a series of books for her son, Dogman books, which we just got in, and they are in the library now as well for children. So you can get books for your children as well. There's the largest computer lab on campus is on the 2nd floor of the library that has both Mac and PC. And we have a temporary Starbucks that just opened this week on the 2nd floor. And a Starbucks is going to be coming into what used to be called Mom's Cafe on the 1st floor of the library, hopefully by the spring semester. There we go. These are just some pictures. So we have some study rooms with glass windows that you can write on. You can reserve study rooms for up to 3 hours. We just have common space where people just kind of hang out and work together on group projects. We have a computer lab, which I said before, and then we have teaching labs. So you may actually be taking a class in the library, and on the 1st floor, that's where all the teaching labs are. For the library people, we do have a chat and email support so that you can chat anytime at 2:00 in the morning, and someone will check it in the morning and send out the chat to the designated librarian. Okay, I'm your personal College of Ed librarian, but we also have disciplinary librarians in other areas. So for example, if you're doing a history project, history of education, or if you're doing law, we do have a law library with a contact there that you can contact for legal issues around special education. We can also help you find and evaluate research sources. The Knowledge Commons is what the second level is called, where all the computers are, and there's also a reference desk there that can help you with technology. You can borrow laptops if they're available, but they're a hot item. They can only be taken out for 60 days at a time. If you forget a cable when you come to campus for your phone and you need to charge your phone, they have every possible phone cable that you can think of. There's recorders, video recorders, all kinds of technology devices that you can rent. And where's my, there we go. The research databases are some of the resources that we have. So on the library homepage, there's a link to databases. When you click on databases, you can select databases by subject or by alphabet. We're the section for special education. So if you come down the select database by subject list, there is a section of recommended databases for special education topics. One that's not on here that I just noticed while I was setting up this presentation is Science Direct. Seems to have quite a few special education topics. I'm going to have that added to this list so that you have a full list of databases. We also have online research guides. I have two librarians, Dorothy Terry and Jasmine Kirby, that are helping me out with the College of Ed. And we have a main page. If you click that link for research guides, it will take you to the main page. With on the left, you'll see some strategies for doing research, getting started by going broad, digging deeper, mind what you find, build a research toolbox, scope out other resources. And then there's also a special education page. So if you click on that link, it will take you to the special education guide. And this is just a page that has some legal resources and organization resources on it. We have a library one-stop resource that was created during COVID when we were closed. And this combines tutorials, resource information, library, physical space information, and there's 3 sections for faculty, undergrad students, and grad students, and the link is on the bottom of the page. So I'll post this PowerPoint into the chat when I'm done, and you'll have the PowerPoint with all of the links. Other library resources, we have an interlibrary loan service. So never ever pay for an article. So if you find an article and you can't find a full text, you can order it through interlibrary loan for free. You just click on the link and set up an account with your unit, and then you request a copy of an article or a physical book. Physical books take about 7 days to come, depending on where they're coming from. Electronic copies of articles or book chapters usually come much faster. Sometimes I put in my request before lunch, and then when I come back from lunch, there's a link there with a PDF for me to check out. There's a 5 Top Strategies Canvas course that will walk you through a process of doing research using Google Scholar to start, and how to link Google Scholar to the library catalog, which is really important, because that gives you clues into where articles are that might be relevant to your research topic. And that's how I found out about Science Direct. I've been working with a lot of special education doctoral students this semester, and a lot of the articles are in the Science Direct database. I also offer qualitative research support. I'm one of the librarians that does qualitative research. And we do have some software, Atlas TI and NVivo, that you can use through the library laptops or on the computers in the library. So here's my contact info. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer any questions. And I'm going to post my PowerPoint and my 5 Top Strategies link for you there.
Thank you so much. That was great. I didn't know that the library had so many resources and options for us.
Yeah, and in the 5 Top Strategies page, the first thing, going broad, will show you how to link Google Scholar to the library. So it's easier to search in Google Scholar, which provides scholarly resources, books, dissertations, and then it will give you a direct link into the library.
That's awesome. Thank you. And I had a question actually for people who rent laptops. You said for 60 days, and then when they turn it back in, can they get another one and rent it for another 60 days?
No, you can't do that back to back
Okay.
because we don't have as many laptops this year due to funding. So we're kind of trying to spread the laptops as far as we can go.
Okay.
So strategically think about if you have a paper coming up, when you want to rent the laptop. I don't know if there's a wait list right now, but at the beginning of the semester, there was a wait list. And they do rent PCs and Macs.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
That's great. Do we have anyone from mental health on Shambi?
Not yet. Juan will probably be joining us in about 10 minutes.
Okay. Next up we have U Pantry. Do we have anyone from U Pantry on the Zoom right now? Okay, I'm going to take that as a no. So then we have tutoring. Do we have anyone from tutoring on?
Mallory, we don't have anyone from tutoring, but they did provide me with some information that I will share real quickly.
That'd be great. Thank you, Audrey.
Right, let's see here. I've got a little PowerPoint I put together for us. All right, yeah, so the director over at the Learning Center is Casey Hoekstra, and they were unable to attend because they just got back from a conference on Friday. I'm assuming they're getting their feedback under them today. But a lovely group of folks. Their mission statement they shared with me is that the Learning Center strives to empower University of Utah students to succeed in their college career and beyond. Their services are intended to help students gain a deeper understanding of course content and develop transferable skills to become more successful students and lifelong learners. Meaning, if you're struggling with something academically, this is the organization you want to reach out to at the U, and they are likely to help you with bigger things than just solving a math problem, right? They're going to dig into study skills, time management, those sorts of things. As far as their access commitment, the Learning Center is committed to supporting learners at any stage of their learning process and strive to accommodate specific learning needs. If any aspect presents barriers to your learning, then you can contact them further about helping accommodate those needs. And then finally is just their contact page. They have a web page. And that's the place that you go to make an appointment. I'm not super familiar with how they conduct their appointments. If anybody has used the Tutoring Learning Center, I would love for you to chime in. Hi, Annie.
Hi, yeah. So all summer long, I give I think we did 18 presentations together, the Learning Center and the Writing Center for and all our transfer workshops and stuff. So Casey and I, yeah, we know each other's content pretty well. So the Learning Center is a neat resource, and we work really closely together. So if you are needing help with, let's say, a psychology class or a chemistry class, and you want help with the coursework for that course, then you go to the Learning Center's website and you search by course, and it'll bring up a list of tutors who have gotten, I don't know if I think it's an A- and above.
Okay.
And so you would work with somebody in face-to-face, one-to-one sessions, either over Zoom or in person, with somebody who has taken that class and is familiar with the assignments and the content and the lectures and all of that. And it's free also, just like the Writing Center is. But if you are writing a paper for one of those courses, you can, of course, get help with content and with, somebody who has obviously done well, and you can absolutely bring that to the Learning Center. But the Writing Center is geared specifically to helping somebody with clarity of writing, right? And so we often have a shared group of students who actually use the Learning Center, and then when a writing assignment comes up, they pop on up here and talk to us. So it's all by course. There's a bunch of different courses that the Learning Center supports. They have I want to say something like 70 at this point. So a lot of tutors who also can tutor in lots of different languages. We have somebody who speaks Mandarin and helps us in the Writing Center with some of our tutorials when there's a translator needed. And so anyway, they have a lot of great people. They also, yeah, do those learning consultations. And so those are things like time management, or what is that called? Test anxiety. Some of those bigger picture things that might be getting in the way of student success. And they have workshops and one-on-one meetings with Casey and some of her more administrative staff to help with those things. And then there's also somebody by the name of Taylor, and I can't remember Taylor's last name, but he's in charge of supplemental instruction. And what that means is some courses have basically a once a week or twice a week study session for classes that students have historically found very difficult. And so we just know that people in such and such class, you know, chemistry 30, 50, I'm just making that up, all struggle in that class. And so they have this study session with somebody who is very familiar with that content, who understands it completely. And they hold these study sessions, I don't know if it's once or twice a week, in some classroom. And if you're interested in attending that supplementary instruction, then you can. It's not part of your grade, but you don't have to sign up for individual tutoring for that. They already know that lots of people need tutoring in that. And so they just have it there available. And it's more of a group session, unless you're the only one who shows up, and then you get that one-to-one tutoring. So there's a lot of different resources or services offered by the Learning Center.
Well, that was super helpful, Annie. I'm glad you were here.
Yeah.
Thank you for
And
that.
we're all in the library. Annie, the Learning Center's on the first floor,
Okay.
Annie's on the second floor. So we're all in the library as well. One stop
Good to know.
support.
Yeah,
The
thank you so
library's
much.
awesome. It really is. It's great.
That's awesome. I didn't know all that about that. So I will probably be taking advantage of that because I'm struggling with one of mine. I know that we had mental health join, so if someone for mental health could, I think it's Juan, if you could go ahead and present what you prepared.
Well, let me give you sharing privileges, Juan. Okay. When you're ready, you do have sharing privileges. We can't hear you, but I show that you are unmuted.
What about now?
Oh, perfect.
Sorry about that. I'm using a space in my office that I haven't before, so I wasn't very familiar with it. But thank you for having me. So I'm actually representing a few different areas within student affairs that I'll be talking about. Mental health definitely is one of them. So yeah, let me just share my screen here. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes,
Awesome.
we can.
Well, thank you. So I actually wanted to start out and just ask everybody how familiar you are with student affairs and what student affairs provides. Kind of. All right. So this will be great. This first part is kind of like an introduction. Basically, we believe that students should be prepared not only, within the classroom, but to be citizens outside of the classroom. And so at Student Affairs, our mission is to support student success and well-being. And the way that we believe we can accomplish that is by helping students discover their passion, their people, and their purpose. And by that, obviously, passions, we want to know what drives you, what you're drawn to, what you want to learn, and what you want to do with your time outside of school. With your people, we want you to find the people that you want to be surrounded by, who you want to learn from, and who you want to go through life with. And with purpose, we want to know what keeps you going, what motivates you, and what drives you to become who you want to become. And obviously, mental health now more than ever plays a huge role in that, because, you know, you have to be at your best mentally to really excel in other areas. So we believe that students today, like yourselves, are seeking engagement opportunities. You know, so this is like opportunities to meet people, do things that interest you, learn about new interests. We want you to have enhanced spaces and places on campus. How do we make the, you know, areas on campus better and give you more access to resources? And obviously the big one, health and wellness resources. So with new engagement opportunities, we have started out this year. We opened up the Center for Community and Cultural Engagement. So this is a vibrant hub, I like to call it, on campus. It's located in the Union in rooms 408 and 409. And this is a space for students to come and learn about different cultures and about one another. They host critical panels and events like MLK Week and Pride Week. And I actually think this is very pertinent to mental health because it's a space on campus where you can feel like you can be yourself and really learn from other students and connect. And I think a big part of mental health is that connection aspect and being your most genuine self. Another area that it's kind of an office that we've reopened is the Student Leadership and Involvement Office. And so basically this office is a one-stop shop for helping you become your best leader, your best self. Not only do they support all of the recognized student organizations on campus like yourself, but they'll help you individually become a better leader by providing tons of resources, a space on campus to go and learn from other students interested in being better leaders, and access to one-on-one coaching, you know, with the staff and members of the Student Leadership and Involvement Office on how to be a better leader. We also have the Student Access and Resources Center, CSAR, which is a place where they're very focused on cohorts and scholarships. So, you know, in the past, we would have different EDI organizations that would each have their own scholarship funds, but now we have a one-stop shop for that. And I think that really helps kind of streamline the process for students. And they also have wellness navigators who will help you find what areas of campus or connect you with other areas of campus that can really help you, you know, achieve whatever it is that you're looking to achieve. Enhancing our places and spaces. I won't go too deep into this since I know mental health is a little more important in today's discussion, but you know, with President Taylor Randall's vision of moving away from that commuter campus, we are building new housing and spaces on campus. The Epicenter just opened this year. And so that's just going to continue. We're going to keep opening spaces for students to live in. There's also, we're trying to improve our health and wellness hubs within different buildings. So we're opening just different centers for students to get connected to the counseling center, for example, and kind of like a gateway to that service, if you will, you know? And oh, sorry about that. And then we are opening different dining options. There's a new coffee shop at the Union called Inti Coffee, which is awesome. More spaces for students to get coffee. I think coffee is very important for mental health, in my opinion. So that's a great one. Sorry about that. Let's see. And here we go. So health and wellness, this is really, you know, a lot of the mental health aspect. We are actually opening engagement opportunities for students in this area too. We actually have a health and wellness advisory board that the health and wellness department is trying to open. And so basically what they're doing with that is they want students to support other students and really find what drives students. So they're opening up an advisory board that's going to, you know, have different sections of health and wellness are going to be involved. And basically they want undergraduate and graduate students to be involved in this advisory board. And it's a chance for students to meet every month and give input on how we can improve health and wellness for other students. So if you go to our student affairs website, which I'll share at the end of this, and you click on the health and wellness section of it, there's a whole description of what the application process is. I know it's closing in a couple of weeks though. So if you're interested in joining that, it's pretty awesome. Another area that we're opening up is the spiritual wellness program. So with the spiritual wellness program, we believe that, not it's not just about religion when it comes to spirituality. It's about, kind of finding out how, what kind of way you want to be spiritual and learning from others in that sense. And so this is going to be a program where you can come and kind of discover your spirituality, learn from others, we're going to have a chaplain that's going to be there helping you, guide you. And, whether it is a religion, whether it's more of a spirituality aspect, we want this program to really guide you and help you find where you belong. And then the picture here, this is Volley. He's the new facility dog. So he's basically a therapy dog. The reason he's called a facility dog is because he is trained to support the whole U of U community and not just an individual. I had the chance to meet him a couple weeks ago or a week ago, and he's the cutest, sweetest dog you'll ever meet. So he will be attending one-on-one sessions, group therapy sessions with his handler, who is Christina Lecluse, who is one of the counselors at the UCC. But they're going to be doing these things called visits with Volley every week, as long as the weather permits, where basically every Tuesday at around noon to 1 p.m., you can find Volley at the Block U and pet him and get your snuggles so that, hopefully it cheers you up for that day. And I know it cheered me up when I was there, so that's a great resource. Other health and wellness resources, of course, I've slightly mentioned this, but the University Counseling Center, I can't stress enough how great of a resource this is. They will connect you with not only a counselor, but there's actually a lot of different therapy groups that they have. And this is something that I feel like is a little under advertised. So it's definitely something you should look into. They have therapy groups, support groups, whether it's, you're grieving something or you just simply feel lonely on campus. We have such a great community that, we believe you should never feel that loneliness. So we have groups that will help you with that. I'll also once you go to the website, I'll show you at the end of this how you can access all of this information. And I believe there was an At the U article I can share in a minute that talks about these groups. The Financial Wellness Center, financial wellness is directly linked to mental health is what we found. That's why it's part of the Health and Wellness Department now. And the Financial Wellness Center is located in the Union, and it's a place where, let me see, I had written down what location it is, but it's in 317 of the Union Building, and you can walk in there, you can make an appointment and basically learn from a financial wellness counselor on, what are your financial goals? How can you reach them? They'll give you tips on how to handle different situations in the finance world. And it's a great resource, I believe, because it's free, and it's like having a financial advisor right here at the U. Another area I want to highlight is the Basic Needs Collective. This recently moved in with the Office of the Dean of Students in Student Affairs, because the Office of the Dean of Students, yes, there's the accountability side with the Dean of Students, but there's also the support side that I don't think a lot of people realize. But we want that office to be one that provides accountability, but also support for students. And part of that is ensuring students have basic needs. So, the basic needs helps with the food pantry that the union has. They help link students to other resources all over campus, even some external resources. And it's a really great program. They're also located in the Union, I believe. I'm trying to find the exact room. Basement? Oh, it's in the Union basement. Thank you. Sorry about that. And the last area I do want to highlight, this is a really important one, especially with the world we are today and, a lot of things happening around the world. We do want students to know that we have, can you see the UCC crisis services? Okay, awesome. So we do offer crisis services Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. for not just U of U students, but if you ever make yourself or make your way into a staff or faculty member, we have the resources for you to speak with someone immediately. This is really important for us. There's even after hours crisis support because, you know, we want students and the whole community to know that, again, they're not alone and that there are ways for you to share, you know, how you're feeling and really address those things head on. And so for me, this is a really valuable resource that I don't think gets talked about enough, but we do have that hotline. And so I want to make sure people know that that number and service is available to them. I believe I'm going a little bit over time here. So here's the information for student affairs. This is our website at the top. And then we have the email address here at the bottom. And we're always pretty responsive, I would say. So thank you so much for your time.
That was great. Thank you so much. I didn't know that we had all those resources there either. I guess that's kind of the point of this. I just put into the chat a link to the U Pantry website information. I think Shambi was going to share a little bit about that, unless we had someone join. I don't think we did.
I don't think we did. The only thing I wanted to share with you is this is wonderful for folks that might have food insecurity. It's just located in the basement of the Union building. You can go in and they'll give you a food kit. So nobody should be hungry when they're on campus. And if you're living here, I know they do boxes of food and things. So do check that one out if you're struggling at all. That's a great resource to have. I know we've done fundraisers for them as part of this CEC. They do a lot of kinds of food fundraisers this time of year. So wonderful.
I also added the
perfect
parent support link.
And Juan, I don't know if you personally have information in this, but we wanted to make sure that folks that are either here today or will be watching this streaming later, that we do have resources on campus for childcare. Is there anybody here that has experience with that group on campus that could share a little bit more? So I think it's Mallory that's sharing that. This is their website. They have wonderful schedule, kind of everything you need to know. This could be a really helpful resource for many of our students as well. And Annie,
yeah, I'm sorry. I've been here for a while. So I have 2 kids and my first is 8, my second one is 1. And we have been part of the U Kids family then for about 8 years. So U Kids is on, there's multiple locations. My kiddos are at U Kids President Circle. But basically there are options for full-time families so I work 40 hours a week. So I had my kids in full-time care, and there are different rates depending on if you are a student, if you are a staff member, or if you're a community member. Full-time childcare, and then they have, as I said, multiple locations. There's some over at like I don't know if it's called married student housing anymore, but whatever the housing is over there. And I'm most familiar, of course, with President Circle. But they also have part-time care, and part-time care for students is just super awesome. So if you have class from this block to this block, you know, you sign up for childcare for the times that you're in class. And so I don't know if it's 2 or 3 hour blocks, but let's just say every Tuesday and Thursday from 10 to 1, you drop off your kiddo, and they are NACE accredited, and so they have certain, you know, safety and ratio laws and practices that they have. They provide snacks. I don't know. I trust it. I like it. The director, her name is Arie Barnes, Arie Barnes with an E, and she's just wonderful to talk to. I feel like she's part of my family, and she's happy to talk to you about all of the different options that might be best for your family. I know there are other childcare services also, but I know U Kids specifically. Oh, and there's like scholarships, because childcare is expensive, right? We all know childcare is expensive, and there are lots of different programs and scholarships in place so that childcare is more affordable for your family.
Thank you, Annie. And I did want to highlight one more program. I don't have any kids, so I'm glad Annie was able to speak from experience. But one that I do think is great that I've heard of is Crimson Kids. So they will watch your kids during home football games as well. This is a great resource because, you know, you can't really fully, well, I mean, I'm not going to say you can't, I'm sure you can, but like if you want to immerse yourself in the game experience, the game day, and also make sure your kids are more entertained because most kids probably would rather be playing than watching a football game. But so this is a great resource that's free to students during game times. And I believe they do let me see if they have it listed here. They were doing like giveaways for home games as well. I believe if you email them the week of a home game, telling them you want to enter the drawing, they're doing that. So don't fully quote me on that, but I think that's one of the cool things they're doing as well.
Fantastic resources. There's so many that has really grown over the last decade or so. It's fantastic to see. One question that I have kind of moving into our Q&A portion is for all of you still on the call now. I know one of our program in particular has about a 50-50 mix of folks that either live here along the Wasatch Front and attend campus courses, or they are, you know, some of our distance ed students that may be in St. George or even outside of state. I'm curious if any of your resources, some of you I know, but if you'd like to share, how could students who don't come to campus access some of these resources or what's available to them?
So I do want to highlight that a lot of the student affairs resources do have virtual options. If you visit our website, just Google Student Affairs at Utah, and it'll be the first one right there. You will see each center that we have within Student Affairs will tell you that whether it's only in person or in person and virtual. And so those options that are virtual, you can make appointments and meet with the different counselors and different services as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Donna, I don't want to speak for you, but I will say that pretty much everything at the library, I mean, obviously not the cool, comfy chairs and checking out necessarily cords, but the library has come such a far way, not to date myself, but from the days when we brought in pockets full of dimes to make photocopies of things. So I think the library is kind of a cool resource. Donna, what would you say some of our distance ed benefits are?
So I actually do more Zoom consultations, even for local students, than people coming to campus. So a lot of students that have jobs really can't come to campus during the day. They're working and then they take classes at night. So I do consultations in the evening, and I also do Zoom anytime students are available. We do have, and I have to check on it, but because I just checked our website and I can't find it. During COVID, we used to send books to people. So we do have, I think we still have the service where you can go to the library and click on a book and say, I'd like to borrow this book, and could you send it to me? And they'll send it to you with a return envelope to return it back. I think it's still available through the catalog because a lot of people can't come and browse in the library for books. You can also order them through interlibrary loan and then have them shipped to your house as well. I think the library is definitely moving more in this online direction. We're also focused on purchasing ebooks so that you don't need to come to campus and buy a textbook. If the library can purchase an online license for you, they'll do that for your course. for your so talk to your faculty about that, and then we can order it and you can just have it available online through Canvas. So you won't have to come to the bookstore, figure out how you're going to buy your book from somewhere else. Trying to think of what else for online.
And they have some amazing streaming services for
Yes.
videos,
Oh, for videos.
documentaries.
Yes. So even regular movies,
Mhm.
you can go to the library website and look at films, put in a film name, and then you can watch it streamed without coming to campus and getting a DVD.
That's awesome. Let's see, Annie, I know you mentioned the Writing Center appointments. Can you think of anything else? The OWL at Purdue you mentioned, which is also a great resource. Are there other things you can think of specifically for the Writing Center for our distance ed folks?
Well, I don't think that COVID was great for many people, but it was great in terms of Zoom. We did not offer Zoom tutorials before COVID, and it kind of forced us to get with the program, I guess. So we actually have for our graduate writing center, about 70% of our tutorials are over Zoom. In the undergraduate, we're still more in person, but it's close. So we do a lot of Zoom tutorials. There's, of course, the Purdue OWL, the Learning Center, Grammarly. I don't think anyone talked about that. For graduate students, the graduate school pays for the premier version of Grammarly for all of those students. A link is sent out at the beginning of the semester, and on their website, there's an activate your premier version. For undergraduates, they don't get the premier, but Grammarly is something that's going to be built into Canvas if it hasn't already. And Grammarly also has an AI tool that will also be a part of the learning system. So that is accessible for distance students. E-tutoring, I already talked about that, but that was what we had in Zoom's place pre-COVID. That was the only way that distance students could get writing support, was through that letter. Let's see what else. Gosh, I feel like I'm missing something, but I've already talked so much, you guys.
That's all right. If you think of something, feel free to cut in, but I'm really glad
Okay.
you mentioned Grammarly. We talk about that in our courses, but I know sometimes students don't hear it until they have to sometimes, so I'm glad you're bringing that up.
Yeah, there's also ways that you can share files. So if you're working on group projects electronically or from off-site, so you have U-Box space, a terabyte of cloud storage space that you can share folders. So you don't have to come to campus and do group work. You can do it electronically. You can send each other messages that way, share files that way as well. There's also a lot of resources that are now available free online. So I did a sabbatical last fall on looking at open education resources, and there's a ton of books that are available for free. So even if you're off campus and you have a book and you're like, this book isn't making any sense to me, you can look for OER and the type and the topic of your book and find another book. My daughter's taking anatomy and physiology right now down at SLCC. And I've been giving her other books. She's like, I don't understand this concept. And I'm like, maybe if you read it in another book that's free, that you can download from offline, that will make more sense to you. So those are available to anyone.
Oh, that's a great idea. I love the idea of having lots of options to read the same concept, especially if one book that we pick doesn't cover it very well. That's great. Kira, anything from our outdoor rec opportunities? I don't know if you have any other sites or if you have any other services for folks that might not be here along the Wasatch Front.
Yeah, no, I was thinking really hard about that, and I mean, there's not really much that you can do if you don't come to campus, and because you could go on one of the trips, but they always meet at campus. But they do travel all over the state, so maybe you meet at campus, but end up somewhere closer down where you are.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing of a student that came up to meet, like do the prep class, and then they all went to Moab, which is where they lived. So that kind of worked out for them. So
Yeah.
wonderful. All right, did I miss anybody else who's in our resources? And maybe Mallory, I don't know if you want to kind of look through as we're recording, not always the chat gets incorporated. So I just want to make sure that we're talking through some of the resources folks are including in our chat, maybe really quickly. Some of them in particular are the websites we've been talking about tonight with, and you can do University of Utah Food Pantry, for example, and you'll be able to find the various links. Same thing, childcare.utah.edu. The Tutoring and Writing Center PowerPoints, maybe we can create a document that has some of these resources. Student Affairs, Juan put in the page for just a lot of mental health resources. So if you go to Student Affairs, their website has a mental health tab that you can click on. And then Juan, I may need you to explain this a little bit, but the recognized student orgs, campus clubs and orgs, of which SCEC is one of them, they meet together. And so we can meet, again with them. And let's see, yeah, we've got Annie's email, and we will make sure that we have contact information for all of you that we could share out as well. All right, what questions? Mallory, I'll let you take this.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? I asked my questions throughout, so if anyone else has any questions, please ask.
Well, just to clarify with what I put in the chat, basically Student Affairs is actively always kind of trying to find new ways to work around student schedules. So certain offices will have days where they have extended hours. They'll stay open until 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. And so that's kind of what I was trying to get at, is that students and those organizations on campus are encouraged to try to work with the SLI office to, if they need to meet at a later time or work around their schedule, basically. So, hopefully having those extended hour days for certain offices will encourage students to use the resources on campus.
That's great, thank you. I also wanted to clarify, I know Sandy Smith was asking where the Block U is. It's right outside the union. And we had I know that the therapy dog, we had one that came to the U, also came to the elementary that I was working at last year, and it is the best. It is such a fun thing, and it is like just an instant mood booster, and that would be great to see in between classes. So I hope everyone can be there on Tuesdays from 1 to 2. But I think we got through everyone. If no one else has anything, or Shammy doesn't have anything.
I don't have a question, but as a relatively new faculty member, I really appreciate y'all coming and talking about the resources that we have available at the U. And I definitely plan to share them with my students directly and encourage them to reach out to you for any of the help or services that they need. So thanks for coming tonight.
Great. Yeah, there were a lot of resources that even I as a student hadn't heard of. And so we appreciate everyone coming. And this will be posted. This was recorded. This will be posted on our social media and website and stuff like that. So you'll be able to access this information as well. Shambi, did you have anything else to add?
No, I just echo Audrey's just gratitude for all of you for one, either coming to learn about the resources, two, those of you that organized all of the prep, and then of course all of our presenters tonight. We know this is often past hours for you, and we're just so grateful to have you share this. That is one thing. We did a quick survey at the end of last year to find out what resources our students in the College of Education know about, and The number one resource they knew about was library, but it was still fairly low, which Donna, that's got to be depressing because I know we have you come to our classes often, and the writing center a little bit, but they often don't know about anything else. And even the writing center and the library, I think they just barely skim the surface of what they know. So that was one of our intentions this time, is just really to get students to understand all of the wealth of resources that are available to help you support your class. And let's see. Oh, Allie's here too. Juan, go ahead if you want to take on for a minute.
Yeah, sorry, just because I had her come down and I would feel bad if she didn't get a chance to talk a little. So this is Allie with SLI. She's going to introduce herself.
Hey y'all. Sorry, I'm an unplanned visitor. My name's Allie. I'm the Associate Director for Student Leadership and Involvement. So I'm over all of the RSOs, or Recognized Student Organizations. So a couple support pieces that we would like to really emphasize: if your organizations need help and support with HB 261 or House Bill 261 compliance, please reach out to me. We are currently working on a lot of training and information for advisors as well as students of organizations. We also are really emphasizing the student support case managers that are a part of the Dean of Students. So sometimes students have come to us and said it's really hard to navigate all these issues and all these resources. And so in our office of the Dean of Students, if you go to Dean of Students at utah.edu or .utah.edu, they have a student support referral. So you as faculty and staff can refer students, or students can self-identify and refer themselves or a friend. But you can reach out and have a case manager who will work with you on anything. We've done where we had students who needed housing. We've had students who needed help because they lost a scholarship and need to find a way to pay for school, or students that need help really being involved on campus and they just don't know where to start. So I really emphasize that. We talk about that a lot in student leadership and involvement, is that if you need somebody to really start and connect with you, they're a great resource to have. The case managers are all wonderful. There's Chandler and Libna. They have Whitney Hills, which is their associate director, and they've just hired a new director. So we're very excited to have them as a resource as well.
Thank you so much. It's fun to finally put a face to the name too that comes across in the email. So thank you. And thanks for coming down to talk with us.
Thank you all so much for having me. I apologize for all the emails. You'll probably get a little bit more. We are going to have a lot of reimbursement workshops and funding workshops. So if you're interested, please let us know. But we're excited to work with y'all. And if you have questions, please feel free to email me.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Yeah. One group that we don't want you to think we didn't think about, it's just that usually, and Juan, you might have some connections here too, but it's usually if students apply to the program or to the university in general, we do recognize if they need services, but we do have the disability services on campus as well. And sometimes we have students that might try to see if they can wing it for a little bit. They've had a history of receiving accommodations and help, and then they start maybe their freshman year deciding they don't need them anymore, and then quickly find out after a semester or two that potentially they do, and if they're not retroactive. And so just recognizing that we do have the services on campus. Juan, does that fall in your purview as well with student affairs now?
It certainly does. And thank you for bringing that up, because that is a great resource. I don't know. I mean, I might actually defer to Allie and just have her. I'm actually kind of new, so I don't know as much about the CDA, but Allie's going to talk on that too. Sorry.
My previous role was in the Dean of Students. So we actually worked with the CDA quite a lot. For our Center for Disability and Access, there's a couple things that students really need to know, because a lot of students will come to them during like the week of finals week and say, hey, I would like to take tests with you. But there's an intake process that you have to go through, and sometimes that can take some time. So a couple of things that you need to know is that they have an intake form on their website. So our Center for Disability and Access, if you go to their site, there's a new intake. And then if you've previously worked with them, but maybe you're back for grad school or you haven't worked with them for a little while, there's also a form for that too. But with the new intake, you're going to need documentation that is less than a year old from a medical care provider. So if it's an ADA accommodation for really anything, it could be anxiety, it could be that you need visual aid or support, things like that. They just need to have that documentation from a medical provider, and they're able to help with like, here's what we need from that provider, and here's like the information that we'd like in the letter. And so they've worked with a lot of providers for that. If you currently don't have medical documentation, like let's say a student has testing anxiety and they've realized that, hey, I might, want to either do my exams in the CDA, or maybe I need a special environment to be in or extra time on my exams. Things like that are very common accommodations to request and ask for. You can actually work with the counseling center. In order to work with them, you have to have met with them at least 3 times before they can write you documentation letters. But they can write you a letter and kind of refer you as well to the CDA too. All accommodations, like we talk to students a lot about that, working with your professor, the CDA will reach out to professors, and if there's like a test or something that you're going to take with the CDA, and they'll reach out to you to schedule that exam through them and in their specific exam times. It's really important to reach out to them though, and be really in communication with your CDA case manager representative. Oh, and thank you, Donna, for putting that into the chat. There are some amazing resources. They are lovely to work with though, and they can help with a lot of different things. So even if you're not sure if something meets accommodations level, like please go in and chat with them.
Thank you so much. What a gift it was to have you pop in today, because you got that covered too. Thank you. Mallory, anything else you can think of?
I don't think so. I think we covered everything. Looking at my list of resources we're trying to get through, I think we got them all. And thank you again, everyone. Those were so helpful. And I think a lot of people are going to find them helpful too. But yeah.
One more opportunity for anyone who might have a question, or for any of our presenters who's like, oh yeah, one more thing. Feel free, this is your time. Oh, and Donna found the info about getting the books from home by mail. We do have that. So it's through the library under their services, and it's called a pull service. So we'll grab that link and add it.
And on campus, they'll deliver to your office as well. So faculty can order a book and have it delivered to your office.
Perfect. That just booked out our weekends. I love it. All right. Well, it's been, I'm assuming it's quiet because there's no questions. So we'll let everybody off. And just once again, thank you to everybody. Thank you to all of you who presented and took time out today to share your resources. And we'll be sharing these out even broader. So thank you so much for spending tonight with us.
Take care.
Thank you, everyone.